how I went from an overworked and stressed out cardiologist to a doctor without limits. In this very first episode of the Limitless MD podcast, you'll learn how a Christmas animal will help you triple your wealth and productivity. And you'll use something called the ELF versus half method and how quitting made me $1 million. Let's roll. What if you could reclaim hours of free time each week, create legacy building wealth, and devote more energy to your passion projects without giving up on your career as a life-saving MD? My name is Vikram Raya, functional cardiologist, high-performance coach, and real estate expert. And I'm here to give you the tools, strategies, and solutions you need to transform your life so you can unlock your limitless potential and achieve greatness, all the while freeing up your precious time. Welcome to Limitless MD. Let's dive in. Welcome to the very first episode of the Limitless MD podcast. My name is Vikram Ryan. I'm excited to take you on this journey with me. This podcast was spun out of the idea that I had not too long ago about taking physicians and other high achievers on a journey so that they can attain a complete life optimization. And I'm not just talking about financial freedom. I'm talking about wealth and abundance, taking back control of your calendar and time, having a bulletproof and resilient mindset, no matter what happens, and having ultimate vitality in one day being able to work from anywhere in the world. See, you're really going to learn the tools, strategies, and tactics that the top 1% use. And this podcast is going to be where we share it all and help you unleash all this actionable advice for your life from the very best in the world. So I hope you subscribe and then email us when you use these ideas to 10x your life and your wealth as the year goes on. Now on to this very first episode where I'll be sharing the ELF versus half method I recently used to get absolute clarity on my life and how quitting, yes, quitting made me $1 million. Now, the reason why this is critical, especially if you're a doctor, is because this is going to help you create clarity and cash flow. That's going to help you put more back into your life with less effort in the long run. So now imagine what you could do with a clear vision and what I call a hell yes versus hell no mentality. How powerful would that be? Pretty awesome, right? So I'll set the scene of what sort of prompted such tremendous amount of growth in my life. It really was January 2020. I, as a cardiologist, had sort of transitioned into doing functional medicine. I was running a real estate multifamily investment firm, and life was good. Now I had two young boys, Veer and Arman. I think they were 6 and 8 at the time. My wife Mona was working in the hospital, and we were living a reasonable and happy life. I actually had arranged for us to go on a vacation. We went in January with all my friends to the Disney cruise in the Caribbean, Bahamas area, and it was amazing. And I started seeing signs of when we were checking in to the cruise, they're like, can we check your temperature? Can we, see what if you're about your medical history? I was like, oh, this is unusual. What's going on here? And they're like, oh, there's this new strain of virus going around. We just want to make sure everything's good. Little did I know, 3 months later, when COVID-19, remember we used to call it COVID-19, right? When that just really blew up, and it essentially changed the fabric of the world in literally an instant. And how did that change myself? I had a physical clinic that I was going in 4 days a week. I was seeing patients. It was a boutique sort of functional medicine, clinic, integrative medicine clinic, where I was helping reverse disease, reverse diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, and all that kind of stuff. I was taking people out of like hormonal imbalance and detox and, weight optimization and things. And it was amazing. It was what I'd always wanted to do. I had transitioned out of traditional cardiology to do this. And they told me I physically couldn't go into my clinic. So that was sort of stressful. I had, eventually built up a team by then. I had employees and payroll. And while that was going on, a friend of mine, Peter Kim, asked me to be on one of his podcast series. And I think he had like an online summit. And this summit was seen by about 10,000 physicians all over the country. And it was highlighting, what people are doing now in the midst of all this crisis, and also, interesting things that doctors are doing outside of medicine. And he obviously thought I'd be a good candidate for this. So I started sharing my story of, my transition over the years from just being, and I'm saying just because a lot of people's dreams, and it was mine as well, to be a cardiologist, right? To be a medical professional, not only just a generalist, but then going on to become a specialist. And how I transitioned from that to having other streams of income, to having freedom of time, to doing all these other things. And so the podcast went off really well, and I started receiving some, inquiries. People were interested in maybe potentially working with me. And again, this is the last thing I needed when I was dealing with a sort of a crisis, in the sense that my clinic was not, was sort of frozen. And then on top of that, real estate, I didn't know what was going to happen with that. I had, we were starting to purchase more and more deals, and our team was just starting to grow. We were at a team about 4 at the time. And really, I was at a critical juncture, right? So I have more opportunities, but I have a tremendous amount of challenges, and something that's unprecedented that never happened to me. And so what do you do at the time, right? What do you do? And I looked at my options, at least for the clinic. I was like, I can give up everything, go back to cardiology. I can just struggle through the clinic. I was taking the PPP loans and, getting some assistance through the government. They had things. Or the third option was becoming resourceful, right? And, it's really where you deep down inside figure out, what do you want, and there's a quote or sort of a theme that I've always said to myself: in times of great, crisis and struggle, it's the resourcefulness that's going to get you through. So I went into my resourcefulness phase, and I was like, what do I really want? And initially I thought I wanted to be a cardiologist, right, above anything else. But then I was like, what do I really want? And then I was like, no, I want to practice medicine the way I want. And then I go, what do I really want? No, I want to be financially independent. And so I had all these themes sort of circling in my head and sort of permeating and bubbling in. So then I reached out to my coaches and mentors. And this is where, the investment in coaching and mentoring and getting advice from people who already are doing what you want to do, who've had a tremendous amount of world experience, who are surrounded by A players and high performers, and who've, learned these life skills that are not taught in medical school. They're not taught in business school. They're not taught by your parents, right? And those are the top 3 places where you would learn, you think. And so I reached out to these guys, and 2 of them in particular, a guy named Sachin Patel and a guy named Trevor McGregor. And so we sort of discussed all these things, and what we've realized was, what is it that I'm chasing? What am I going after? And I realized I was going after freedom. And sort of this concept of sort of the 5 freedoms sort of came into being for me. And I'll share with you what they are. But I realized I was not only chasing financial freedom, as we all are, and especially that's something we think about, early in our career, but I wanted more, right? What's the point of having a tremendous amount of money or wealth or cash flow or net worth if you don't have free time to actually utilize that? So then I realized I was actually chasing a second freedom, and that's called time freedom. But then I'm like, I'm the epitome of, a person who really focuses on their health and wellness. And at that time I started getting into biohacking and human optimization. I had with this Aura ring, I was, getting trained by a trainer. I was doing Muay Thai kickboxing. I was trying to emphasize flexibility, high intensity interval training and strength training, right? And I wanted the vitality. Why? Why would you want vitality? Why would you want health, wellness and health? It's because you need that to create the most important currency in your life. And I'm not talking about dollar bills, but energy, units of energy are the greatest currency you can have in your life. If you have the energy, literally you can utilize that and trade it in for pretty much any object, goal, dream, desire, mission, objective in life. And so I wanted to generate a tremendous amount of energy. I'm in my mid 40s, right? It's not like, you wake up and you're just, springy and you're ready to jump out and do whatever you want. No, you got to cultivate this. You got to create this kind of source of inspiration and power and energy in your body. So that was my goal. So vitality, freedom, right? Financial freedom, time freedom. Those are the big three. I'm like, but is there more? What else can I go after? And then I thought about the concept. I've read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, one of my, sort of virtual mentors. And I always loved the capacity to be able to travel anywhere and even consider working from anywhere. And now more than ever, right? The phrase gets thrown out quite often in the COVID era. But COVID has not only provided some curses, but has provided some blessings. And one of the things is detaching productivity and work from a physical location. And so, on top of all the other things I'm going to teach you on this podcast, we're in an environment where geographic independence and freedom and location freedom is really possible. And so I thought, how cool would it be to get that? And then finally, it's, how do you deal with crisis, struggle? How do you deal with when things go wrong in your life? And, I don't think this has ever been done on a podcast, but I'm going to just do it right now. I'm feeling, I want to feel very authentic with you guys. And I just want to share with you all the things that, I think about when I make my decisions. But the things that I can think about that will go wrong in a successful professional physician's life when they hit their 30s and 40s and maybe early 50s is this. Something can happen to their children, death or illness, right? Next, something can happen to their parents, usually financial crisis, illness, or a passing of a loved one or a parent, right? Then it's, you can personally get sued. You can potentially have a financial disruption, and then divorce, right? Relationship struggles. These are the main things that I could, or your own personal health challenges, right? And then those are the major things, and sort of the moderate to minor. And I'm saying moderate to minor in respect to what I just said, but the ability to not be burnt out, right? The concern of not being fulfilled in life, right? You're making 6-figure income, but you're not enjoying your life. You feel like you have to struggle through it. You're not looking forward to Mondays, right? That's a typical indicator of things may need to change in your life. You live for the weekends only. You find purpose outside of your work. So all of that, I think, comes under the category of mindset. And the goal is to have complete mindset freedom, have a bulletproof and resilient mindset. So these were the 5 freedoms I realized that I was chasing. And that's not what I was initially, created on my vision boards. That's not initially what I had. So I was like, how do I make that true? And I realized sometimes you have to let go of your dreams to achieve your destiny. And what do I mean by that? Well, my initial dream was to become a cardiologist. So then I transitioned that into, creating this amazing functional clinic that I was really pleased with. I was very proud of my patients' progress, and it fulfilled me as a doctor. Then I wanted financial freedom, and then enter real estate, which I love. I enjoy real estate. It's interesting. It's fun. It provides, what I call the 6 human needs, right? It provides certainty. It allows me to, have a certain income and a certain, place in life. It's uncertain, or it provides variety, right? There's what part of the country am I investing in? What deals am I looking at? How, what's going on with my tenants? What's going on with my investors? Number 3, it provides, love and connection. I'm connecting with my team. I'm connecting with my tenants. I'm connecting with the investors, the brokers. It provides, significance. I feel proud that I'm running this company, and I feel like I'm making a difference, and we're improving communities that we work in. And then the last two needs that it meets are, growth and contribution. Am I growing? Yes, I'm growing the company. I'm growing as myself. I'm growing in marketing. I'm growing in my skills as a leader. I'm growing in my management strategies, and in how to scale and grow a company, right? And then finally, contribution. I feel like, I'm with the money I make from the real estate, I'm donating all over the world to charities, and I feel like I'm providing a great life for my family. I'm contributing to their well-being. And so, as a rule of thumb, these are the 6 human needs. And I was planning to talk about it on a later episode, but it just came out here. So, literally, if an activity or a goal or a vision or a mission meets at least 3 of the needs, you're going to be sort of addicted to it. Now, in this case, it meets all 6 of my needs. So, it totally vibes with what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to be. So with that said, going back to the theme of sometimes letting go of your dreams to find your destiny. And this is instance, but I was at another critical juncture in my life, another turning point. So COVID has hit, and now I'm thinking, what do I do? Right? Initially my goal was to keep the real estate on the side, just really blow up this clinic. My goal is to have 30 clinics all over the world. And, this clinic was really doing quite well. And the returns from not just the returns, but more the impact I was having was just amazing. And I really enjoyed it. But once I viewed everything in the lens of those 5 freedoms, one of the coaches asked me, hey, what's the golden thread that's going through it all? What are you trying to do, with all the things you're trying to do? And I realized that I was just trying to up-level everything I touch, right? I'm up-leveling my patients. I'm trying to up-level the real estate investors, the brokers. And then now with the optionality of maybe helping physicians all over the country, maybe I can start up-leveling them. And I was like, wow. So it's sort of trying to become like, not a super coach per se, but it's just like a person who can help in multiple fields, right? I wanted to become well known and help people in health, wealth, and mindset. And so if that's the case, and I'm trying to chase all these freedoms, one of the things was, location freedom or geographic freedom. So being physically stuck in a clinic is not conducive to all what I was trying to do. So I made a tough decision. I actually ended up shutting my physical clinic down. And it was a big deal, right? I had never imagined I would ever do that. But the moment I did that, I felt such a relief. And the second piece of knowledge I want to share with you is this, Christmas animal, elf versus half. And that's spelled ELF versus half, HALF, right? What does that stand for? And this is, I want to, reference where a lot of this was taught to me by. This is from Joe Polish. And he said, ELF is essentially easy, lucrative, and fun. I'll say it again, easy, lucrative, and fun. And then half is hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating, right? So even though I felt I was doing well with the clinic and I was enjoying myself, it was not easy, lucrative, and fun. I was really working hard on it. I was really marketing. I was putting my energies out there. And, it didn't come easy, but I was making progress. And I realized it was more half, hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. So I was like, that's something to think about. While the real estate, man, it just came just like, I didn't even have to think about it. Boom. It created wealth. It created energy. It created progress. It created momentum. And we're like, without me literally like working on it, the company was growing. So I was like, this is amazing. So that's when you have to ask yourself, where should I sort of concentrate my energies? And so I shifted my energies to the real estate. And literally when I did that, Viking Capital went from, I don't know, sort of a regional multifamily investment firm to becoming a real estate private equity firm with $600 million of assets, acquired. We are, I think we've done 24 transactions total. Our team grew from 4 to 14, right? During the middle of COVID, we bought almost $250 million of real estate in the last 18 months. And it's just been a tremendous amount of growth. And I'm not saying obviously to try to impress you, but impress upon you the thought that where are you spending your energies, guys? Where are you putting all of your hard-earned currency that I've talked about, this energy? Is it in the best form or use for your life? Is it helping you achieve what you're chasing? And should you consider readjusting and think about it? Now, you may be wondering what happened next. Well, once that blew up, it just gave me so much free time. It gave me mental clarity and peace, and it gave me confidence. And I ended up doing something else. I created a third company, because I had Vitology and Viking at the time. So I created Limitless MD. And with Limitless MD, man, that was another ELF. It was easy, lucrative, and fun. I really enjoyed it. I was feeling I was doing my passions. My coaching clients really got a ton out of what I was helping share. I was helping up level their lives and adding tremendous amount of value, and I enjoyed it. It was fun, and it didn't take so much energy or time, and it came naturally. So now these two companies were like thriving. I was like, what about Vitology, right? How do I get that back to where I want to go? I'm like, you know what? Cardiologist was a crowded sandbox, and I enjoyed it, and I did it, and I was good at it, and I would say, I attained some level of mastery of it, and so I moved to functional medicine, and I did the same thing there. I really enjoyed it. I helped patients. I created a framework, and it was amazing, but it wasn't giving the same joy that I initially thought it would. So I was like, what is it that would be unique for me, authentic in my pursuit of it? And it would be converting my functional medicine clinic to what I call biohacking, human optimization, and longevity. I'm like, that's what I'm really geeked up about. That's exciting to me. That's what I'm really chasing for myself, right? I want to live to like 150 years of age. I want to learn about all these cool gadgets and technology. I want to, like one of my goals was to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And so I didn't do it last year. I have it on my calendar for this year. So September 2022, I'm putting it out there to the world. Me and a couple of guys, we're going to climb this thing, right? I've done Pikes Peak. I've done a couple of Tough Mudders and Spartans. I've hit a lot of personal records on my weightlifting and training. I've run a 10 miler before. So it's like converting my body, my physique, my energies into whatever the optimal version of that is for me. Why? I want to be a role model for my kids. Why? I want to see if I can do it. And why? Because I think it's a worthy pursuit. And so I'm like, if I'm thinking like this, I'm probably surrounded by professionals and doctors and lawyers and, entrepreneurs and business folks who, they go to their regular doctor and, they get some just general checkup, but it doesn't really tell them anything about what's possible for them, right? How do they optimize and maximize? And so that's what I'm chasing. I'm like, I'm sure other people would want to chase that too. And so I've shifted Vitology now into this new incarnation, and that's okay. By adapting, you're recognizing what you're passionate about. So now I have 3 passion businesses that I'm pursuing. I don't feel like I'm working at all. And I've used the 3 rubrics that I've told you to evaluate all decisions. And there's the last one I have to teach with you. So the 5 freedoms, ELF versus half. And then now, see what happens in the first part of your life is you don't have enough opportunities. So you say yes to everything. At some point, it flips. There's a tipping point in life. And so the second half of your life, what you're really doing is you need to learn to say no to almost everything and say yes to those just mighty few opportunities that literally are going to get you to where you want to go, right? That's your 80-20. And for those of you who don't know that 80-20, it's the Pareto Principle, right? Italian economist and sort of science observer in the sort of the Renaissance time, observed that, for of all the inputs in there, like only 20% of the inputs get you 80% of your results, right? So 20% of the doctors make 80% of the money, things like that. So with that said, you can't, if you say yes to everything, you literally are whittling away your energy and your decisions and your power, and it's being diffused, and you're not going to get the progress you want. As you guys know, progress equals happiness. So with that said, I came up with this hell yes versus hell no mentality. So if things are a hell yes, then I do it. If things are a maybe, or I'm not sure, then that immediately becomes a no, or even a hell no. So obligations, commitments that I'm not really that excited about, or, hang out with people or go to certain places or parties, or, just things just to maintain appearances. Life is too damn short. So there's no need for that. So again, if it's not a hell yes, make it a no. So the 3 rubrics: 5 freedoms, elf versus half, hell yes versus no. And so now, guys, I'm at this stage where I love my life. I really do. And I want to bring on sort of the best guests, the best strategists, the best people in the world to share with you how you guys can achieve these 5 freedoms. And I don't care what happens in the future, whether it's COVID, whether it's the next virus, whether it's economic correction, whether you get released, your Medicare cuts, you get named in a lawsuit. I don't care what. I want you to have just a resilient, bulletproof mindset that boom, you can handle it and thrive in it and look for the opportunity in it, right? The Chinese word for crisis is actually, if you translate it out, it means, the second half means opportunity, the character in that word. So look for the opportunities in these tumultuous times. And, I'm really excited to be on this journey with you guys. So there you have it. Now I want to recap so you have a really good idea of what to do next. Try the elf versus half method and the hell no versus hell yes protocol for 7 days. Guys, I want you to try this strategy. You can use it for your work or personal life as well. And let me know how it goes. Who knows, if you have great results, you might even ask you to come along on the show and share what you're doing. And of course, guys, if you want to cut to the front of the line and go deep with me one-on-one and help install these strategies in your life and business for an entire year to, at the very least, double your revenue, then I want you to go to vikramraya.com and to learn about our exclusive mentorship program and hear from the extraordinary doctors who have actually gone through it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Limitless MD. If you found value from this episode, I encourage you to share this episode with a friend and let me know by leaving a review. For more information, make sure you check out the links in the show notes below or simply visit vikramraya.com. So until next time, my friends, be phenomenal.